Oh man, it gets kind of tiring when Pacific time zone games go to overtime. I know, thank goodness for Dan Girardi though. Woo! Are you just gonna get hammered? Get me a toaster. Magic Angel Robot from Winnipeg! What the hell are you talking about? This team is ruining my life! It begins. The Los Angeles Kings win 3-2 in overtime over the New York Rangers in Game 1, and they take a 1-0 series lead in the Stanley Cup Final. Jeremy Williams with the overtime winner, but that's skipping ahead. What happened in this game? This thing was big from the opening face-off. For the ceremonial face-off, it was none other than tucked in jersey. Yeah, you heard me, D-Man begging for mercy. One water bottle on that goalie because that goalie looked thirsty. The great one, Wayne Gretzky. D-Rap now, is that a thing? My piece, shut up. From there, and we're off. The Kings look great off the opening face-off. But Henrik Lundqvist, you might have heard of him. Pretty good. The game stays tied, which allows for this. Benoit Pouliot all alone on a breakaway. The shot's too quick for Jonathan, 1-0. And before the Kings can even catch their breath, shorthanded opportunity, a minute and a half later, Carl Hagelin stopped by Jonathan Quick, but Quick cannot stop Slava Voinov. And in a flash, it's 2-0 Rangers in the opening game of the Stanley Cup Final. But about 2 minutes later, terrible angle, Kyle Clifford. Now, early on in Kyle Clifford's career, he was a very good playoff performer. In his first NHL playoff, he played 6 games, had 3 goals, 2 assists for 5 points. And then it kind of dried up after that. First of all, it was his first playoff goal since 2011, and his first goal in 37 playoff games. Hey, the Rangers took advantage of some opportunities early on, got some fortuitous bounces. Here is a goal that you wouldn't expect for the Kings. It's like the universe, man. Always knows how to even things out, you know? Ciao. And that's how we go to first intermission. 27 shots total, 3 goals. Holy crap, what a period. And holy crap, what a goal. Drew Dangle Doughty. Goodness great. You should not. How? Here, everyone watching, once you're done watching this video, go upstairs, play your video game for 100 hours and try to do what he just did. Like, I can very not do what Patrick Kane can do on skates, but sometimes I'll watch Kane and I'll be like, oh, he like pressed Y and then put a little skill stick cheekiness in there, and I'm watching Doughty like, how did he do that? Rushes in through the legs and everyone's just watching him like, die, and he's able to take a pretty good shot and score. And that 2-0 lead that the Rangers were just blessed with was no more. And the Rangers would regret losing it, but I'll explain that in a minute. Want to take a little break. Talk about something good that happened for the Rangers. Anton Stralman with a huge hit on Clifford. Couple funny stories about Anton Stralman. It's hilarious for me to see him lay such a huge hit, because he used to be a Leaf prospect, don't you know? Used to be called soft, whatever, but like I saw him play when he was a young Leaf and I'm like, he's pretty good. Why do they keep sending him down? And I got a chance to be credentialed media for the Toronto Marlies, the Leafs AHL affiliate, while Stralman was down there. And I wanted to interview him and he walks in with his shirt off and I go, that's why. He looked like he benched maybe the bar. And I mean, I'm no athletic trainer and I don't exactly get mistaken for Channing Tatum very often, but he didn't look very big. A few years later and he's laying hits like that. Not bad, wish he was a Leaf. Oh hey, Leaf fans, you ready for some torture? Hey, everyone who doesn't like the Leafs, gather around, this is gonna be fun. Leaf fans, I'm one of you, shut up and take your lumps. So, like I said, Anton Stralman was traded away from the Toronto Maple Leafs. They traded Anton Stralman, Colin Stewart, and a 2012 7th round pick to Calgary for Wayne Primo and a 2nd round pick. So you may look at that deal and go, oh, the Leafs traded Anton Stralman for Wayne Primo? That's pretty poor. But at least the Leafs get a 2nd round pick in 2011. They could probably do something with that. Well, they did do something with that, because what happened was the Leafs wanted to get Phil Kessel at the time. And the idea, allegedly, was to threaten the Bruins with the idea of an offer sheet for Phil Kessel, but in order to do that, they needed their own 2nd round pick for 2010 back, which they did not have. Who had that pick? Chicago. So the Leafs made a trade with Chicago where the Leafs got their own 2010 2nd round pick back, and they sent that 2011 Calgary pick to Chicago. The Leafs ended up trading that 2nd round pick in the Phil Kessel deal. It turned into Jared Knight, a Boston Bruins prospect. The Chicago Blackhawks used the 2nd round pick that they got to get Brandon Saad. Yep, the Leafs traded for and then traded away the pick that drafted Brandon frickin' Saad. And to rub more salt in the wound, the way the Blackhawks originally got that pick is from Montreal in exchange for Robert Lang. And the way Montreal ended up with that pick is because it was in the Mikhail Grabowski trade, who the Leafs ended up buying out anyway. And this is why whenever there's a little trade that I disagree with, I freak out. The butterfly effect gets you. So that was story time. Now to the 3rd period. Also known as Henrik Lundqvist just going, "Ah!" The shots were 20-3 for the Kings in the 3rd period alone. Lundqvist flailing around doing everything he can do like I got a GQ shoot in the morning. This is bullshit. And to make matters worse, Brian Boyle slash stick breaks in the last 2 minutes. Oh my god. Chance goes one way, chance goes the other. And it's okay, the whistle blew and now it's time for overtime. Question though, because it seemed to be a hot Twitter debate topic, should what Brian Boyle did be a penalty? Okay, he made a slashing motion and it broke his opponent's stick. Now, there are excuses to be made for Boyle, but some people were making excuses that I didn't think made much sense. You got PJ Stock on Hockey Night in Canada going, he's 6'7", 250 pounds. So what he's trying to say is he's big and strong and therefore should be excused from what he did. That's like whenever there's a head check and they're like, yeah, but look at the size difference. But it shouldn't matter because the player laying the hit or laying the slash knows how big they are. Team doctor goes, hey Brian, you're 6'7", 250. Go forward with that information. So while I don't think that's a good excuse, there was a case to be made that, hey, it shouldn't just be when the stick breaks, it should always be a penalty when it's a slashing motion. And then you had the crowd go, well, that sort of thing should never be called a slash. And hey, I know I just asked the question, but you don't really have to answer it because luckily it led to nothing. And Brian Boyle does not have to wear the goat horns. Dan Girardi, on the other hand, completely whiffs on the puck, falls down to his knees, the puck ends up on Justin Williams' stick, which is just not good. And Justin Williams, Corsi God, reigns supreme. Justin Williams is an interesting thing, and he's a phenomenon that happens almost every playoff. So you get the guys who have like one amazing playoffs, and you go, whoa, and then you never quite see that production again. I know there's lots of examples off the top of my head of Sean Bergenheim. Then there are the guys who inexplicably double their playoff numbers from what they were in the regular season. The Brian Bickles, Dustin Penners, to an extent Danny Briere. And then you get the guys who were good all along, and that team's fan base knew they were good all along, but it's not until the eyes of the hockey world are on them that everyone stands up and goes, wow. For the Los Angeles Kings, that player is Justin Williams. He doesn't have the name of a Jeff Carter, Anze Kopitar, Drew Doughty, but his name deserves to be mentioned with that crowd. With the Rangers, you got some big names, Henrik Lundqvist, Martin St. Louis, Rick Nash, even though he's not really scoring. Derek Stepan is a rising name, Ryan McDonough is a rising name. The biggest rising name to me, Carl Hagelin. And it's not just because he got a goal in this game. We talked about it before. What's the Swedish word for wheels? Hjul. Hagelin's got mad Hjul. Hjul? Hjul. Tell me how to properly say it. Tack så mycket. That's a little inside thing for me and the Swedes. They know. It's anyway. So, the Kings take game one. And after games like this, there are often popular stats like, did you know that 77% of the teams that win game one in the Stanley Cup final win, shut up. The most important thing for me, many people advertised this final as a slaughter. What it was the Rangers coming dangerously close to beating the Kings on home ice. And while I do think the Kings outplayed them, it came down to a whiff of the stick. The Kings are winning, but it's only 1-0, and the Rangers are very much in this series. What do you think? So that's it for this one. Click like if you like this video, click subscribe if you really liked it, tell all your friends, go to techsavvy.com if you want internet that's as fast as mine, and I will see you after game 2. That's a lot of time between videos. I bet the Leafs are going to do something dumb.